Welcome everyone to the very first episode of What We Expect.
Woo!
I am your esteemed co-host, Chris motherfucking Metz.
Ooh.
This is my other esteemed co-host,
And this is
Juan. You need no introduction needed except for that one. So what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm feeling good. It's not Wednesday. I was gonna do like the Lord. Feeling good on a Wednesday.
I mean, you still can. You can make up here on
It's not fucking Wednesday, though.
It doesn't matter.
So, this is a podcast that we've been trying to do for 2 months now.
Good little second.
And everything just keeps coming up. You know, we've both had some things going on.
Mm-hmm.
But we're here now. We're in the same room. We're popping shots like it's water. Thank you, sir.
Good water.
And
it's that holy water.
We're here to talk about professional wrestling. And... No pun intended, but we're here to talk about what we expect.
Yes, what we expect.
So, Quan, I want to start this off with a little bit of like a getting to know you.
Okay.
So, tell me, what has been your favorite professional wrestling memory? It doesn't have to be WWE, even though that's our show's initials.
Right. Let me think. I think...
Ooh, that shot went down hard.
Yeah, I mean, that's what she said. But as far as my favorite memory with wrestling... I mean, it would have to be something with, Randy Orton, of course.
Like, what specifically?
I'm going there. With Randy Orton, since that is my favorite wrestler and the best wrestler of all time.
Can we get into that? You want to get into that right now?
Not yet. But with Randy Orton, I think it was... Whoa. Background music.
Yeah, we got a third in here who might chip in occasionally.
Occasionally.
Probably not.
Except that moment.
But as far as one of my favorite memories of Randy Orton, it was probably some of the matches that he had with going against the Stephanie McMahon and Vince McMahon.
Oh, you mean when he DDT'd Stephanie and fucking mouth kissed her?
Mouth kissed her. That was with Triple H as well. Especially when he... I think actually one of my favorites was when he punted Vince McMahon in the head. He punted him so hard it really caused him to have a concussion.
That was when Shane acted like he had a seizure.
Yeah,
that
was the exact one. Yep. Either that's up there, or even the one where he pulled John Cena's dad out of the crowd and punted him too. That's when Randy Orton was at his best.
You know what I hope happens?
What's that?
So Crown Jewel. This World Cup.
If it happens.
I think it's gonna happen. It'll probably happen.
It probably will.
So this World Cup, all Americans, right? Mm-hmm. Do you realize we have the chance of getting John Cena and Randy Orton in the fucking finals?
Again. Over and over again.
I just hope, like, as a backlash, Vince goes, boys, go cut a 30-minute match out there. Go stink up the joint.
Go stink up the joint. Go give us some old memories that no one wants to see.
Nobody wants to see this. It'll be like that, you remember that Hell in a Cell match they had a couple years ago?
Yeah, for the titles?
Yeah, that was the TLC for the
No, that was the TLC, yep. But who knows? We'll see. Pass it the wrong way. Here you go.
I always do that.
It's all good. But yeah, we'll see. But what do we expect from Crown Jewel? Since we went there now.
So, I expect a lot of propaganda for Saudi Arabia.
Of course.
My thing with that, though, is like, I don't want to get political or anything. But this guy's going to get like political for a second. I don't think that all of that propaganda they showed last time should be shown on TV. Just because of the fact that, like, things are a little bit icy with Saudi Arabia and it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good on WWE as a whole to be like, look how great Saudi Arabia is, like they did last time, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it wasn't great last time, but I think now, like, it would be even worse for them to do so.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I expect AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan to have a good match, but I think those, like, Saudi princes will probably sit there and, like, just be silent.
Yeah.
I don't expect it to be a bad show.
Right.
Maybe it could easily be a bad show.
It can easily turn bad. If I was to give it a grade before it actually starts, I think it will be
like a C plus.
Yeah. C plus. I say C minus.
I think what'll save it from like being a C minus is obviously like AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan will put on a good match.
Daniel Bryan. I think, you know what? I think it's going to be a sleeper. I know everyone's not really high on it, but I really think the Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels Kane match is going to be pretty good.
My problem with
I think Shawn Michaels won the show out just because he's been out for 8 years.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, from what I hear, Kane has a broken foot.
And he's a mayor.
Yeah, I don't think it looks good on him politically to be over.
I mean, he's already the mayor, so I guess it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah, but I mean, he's got to rerun at some point, you know?
That's true, but I think people like that now. That's the society that we're in. But not to get off topic and go further into something else. Yeah, but continue on.
But I don't know, man. I hope it's good. I mean, Shawn Michaels hasn't wrestled for 8 years. I imagine he's probably working out in the Performance Center.
Probably.
I don't know. I'll be cautiously optimistic is what I think. My overall thoughts on the show is cautiously optimistic.
Mm-hmm. I think Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair is going to have a good match.
Oh, they always do.
Yeah, I think.
Well, are they having that match? I thought they were having that last women's standing match at Evolution.
Oh, you're right. You know what? They have so much going on.
Well, they're promoting two things at once.
I have no clue what the hell is going on with WWE. They're so all over the place right now. There's so much shit going on. I don't know where they're going with anything right now. I think they're just taking superstars and placing them.
I don't even think they know, bro.
Yeah. You know what? Another thing surprising, to switch it from Crown Jewel, I didn't realize this, but I didn't realize Bobby Lashley turned heel. Did you know that?
Yeah, he attacked Kevin Owens because I guess they wrote him out for injury because he just had double knee surgeries.
He can't stay healthy.
It's not that. I just think it's weird. So here's my thing with it, alright? I was thinking about this the other day. Sami Zayn just went out on surgery for both of his fucking arms. Mm-hmm. And KO goes out for surgery for both of his fucking legs. How strange.
It's definitely...
that just furthers... I feel like they'll use that probably in some storyline because that's just too...
Yeah, I was telling someone that they're definitely going to return together.
Oh, probably. I think they're slated to return around the same time.
But back on the Bobby Lashley, I think they're trying to rewrite the ship that they wrote wrong.
You mean by him beating Roman and then losing to him again the next night?
Yeah, it didn't make sense. But not even just that, just of him being a babyface coming in. He should have been a hard ass all the way coming in.
Oh, for sure. He was like that in TNA.
Yeah.
He had all the belts. He was basically their Brock Lesnar, for lack of a better term.
Exactly. It made no sense to bring him over and create this babyface and having him smiling and pointing to guys know what.
That leads me... I'm glad that you brought that up because that leads me to my next thought here. Mm-hmm. Do you think that WWE struggles to create baby faces? If you think about it, everybody always likes their heels, and baby faces only get over when they do heel shit. The only time Roman gets cheered is when he fucking tells somebody to eat shit instead of saying, "What was that? Suffering succotash."
Yeah, I don't know if they necessarily struggle. I think it does come into play as far as them. Oh, it's gone.
It's gone.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Had to get that shot, that last shot. But I don't think they do. I think they struggle more of just creating new characters.
I think it's hard. I think in today's day and age, it's hard to write a white meat Hulk Hogan babyface.
Yeah.
Because people don't like that. People
and I think that's what they try to do.
Heel, people gravitate towards things like the NWO. Yeah. Or the Shield.
You know what? It's them trying to make a Hulk Hogan or a John Cena, and it doesn't work anymore.
Dude, that's a whole can of worms there. Especially with it's been 4 or 5 years now, and Roman Reigns still isn't where they want to be.
Still isn't what they. I don't understand why they keep trying to push them down our throats like it's going to change anything different.
Well, Dave Meltzer said that apparently they're setting Drew McIntyre up to be the face of the company.
Oh God!
Which I
don't have a problem with Drew McIntyre, but I think they're going to do I think it's going to be the same thing.
I have a problem with Drew McIntyre if he comes out shaking hands and kissing babies.
Right? Yeah. Drew McIntyre is better as a heel for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I could see potential in a good babyface run, but that would be more of. I would probably say he'd be in the middle. Kind of how Roman is now.
And actually, I'm going to recant on that because I can say anybody is better as a heel than they are babyface.
Sure, because it allows you to express more.
Yeah.
Because, people like Bayley, I'll use her as an example. Mm-hmm. She's somebody where it's she does the whole, you know, shaking hands, kissing babies thing.
Right.
And it just doesn't.
It doesn't work. I mean, but if you think about, because WWE works with how the society is ran for the most part. And they always try to pander to what society is given for them.
I agree with that.
I mean, you can see it with New Day and how they pander with, you know, African Americans and stuff, and doing the newer dances or some of the slang that they say, but it's still in a buffoonery way. But people love New Day, and I love New Day as well, but it's still kind of in a buffoonery way, and they're not.
I'm waiting.
Nowhere with it.
I'm waiting for them to just introduce like their first SJW character.
Oh my god!
Who just walks up and she's like, "No violence. You can't do it."
Oh my god! I think that would be actually pretty hilarious.
Knowing WWE, it'll be 10 years from now and nobody gives a fuck.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, as far as back to the question of do they struggle to make baby faces, I think they just struggle to make new characters. They're always trying to continue to make the next superstar into a superstar from the past.
Yeah, it's more like...
You can't do that.
Hogan, so they wanted like Steve Austin to be the next Hogan, and then The Rock to be the next Steve Austin, and then John Cena to be the next Rock, and Roman Reigns to be the next John Cena. So it's like, who's next? If anybody. So we'll say in NXT right now. Who do you think's next?
Listen, that's another loaded question, because we done got a shit ton of NXT people who are supposed to be next that came up, but
their whole fucking roster is crowded, man.
They diminished their character.
Bobby Roode. Oh god, sorry.
Listen, let's not even go there, because I mean, even bringing some of the guys from TNA over and bringing them to NXT and then bringing them to WWE, it's hilarious how they utilize them.
Their roster is literally like 2006 TNA.
Oh my god.
AJ Styles is champ. Samoa Joe's facing AJ Styles. Eric Young's there. Bobby Roode.
I mean, like we said, just another thing with, as far as with Vince McMahon, he's usually taking ideas from others, and he has the cachet to be able to make it happen. So he's
of course,
he's going to take the idea from someone else and implement it into his plan and make it brighter and wider for more viewers to view than you could ever imagine on a lower level.
WWE really has that fuck money right now.
Yeah, they do.
Dude, they literally could just piss away $1 million.
What do they work? 2.4?
Something like that. I know
2.4 billion,
their stock is fucking blown up in the last 6 months. I think it went from being like $30 to almost $100 now.
Yeah, it was low. When I first seen the stock, it was at $44, and it ended up skyrocketing. Because I bought a stock. I bought a stock at $50, and I ended up selling it at $80.
That's fucking wild, man. That's just so wild to me.
It is so wild.
I never in a million years, thought that they would be as valuable as they are for live entertainment purposes with such a fucking shitty product.
Right. Because if you think, because with a certain thing like that, when people start to know that it is more scripted than anything, I know you have your people out there who's like, oh, it's fake. No shit, it's fake.
We know
it's scripted more than fake. I mean, you ain't gonna get your dumb ass up in there and wrestle with some of these guys, but that's besides the point.
Try to fall off a 20-foot ladder and tell me that it doesn't
try to get hit with a steel chair or fall on some tacks or anything like that, or with those Kindle sticks. Get hit with the Kindle sticks.
From experience, those things fucking hurt.
The steel chairs?
No, the Kindle sticks.
Oh, the Kindle sticks? Hell yeah, they hurt.
There's no give to those.
Exactly, and they just be breaking off on. But anyways, but from people, over here coming to more terms of, oh, it's scripted. It isn't what it used to be. Yeah, we know that, but for Vince McMahon to continue to have it growing how it is, it's remarkable. It's definitely remarkable.
It makes me fucking mad. I'm gonna be honest with you.
About what?
It makes me so angry that they're growing what they are and the way that they are in spite of how shitty everything is.
Yeah.
Nobody wants Roman. Yeah, they're fucking worth $1 billion now. You know what I mean? They're gonna put back on that and be like, well, clearly Roman Reigns is a draw.
Yeah.
We just got a TV deal with Fox.
That's because the kids, the younger generation who is under, what would I say, under
probably like 12,
15, 14.
Yeah,
they love the shit that they put out because it's like animated to them.
I don't know if this is a hot take, but it's like, to me, I think more people go to Raw to see like Undertaker than they do Roman Reigns.
You think so?
Oh, for sure.
Well, Undertaker isn't there enough, though. So
but I mean,
how
if
can
you
we say that?
So from a statistical standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
every time like the Undertaker is on TV, the ratings go up.
Of course, yeah, true.
I mean,
when he's known to be there, yes, it does.
I don't necessarily think people go there every week thinking like I'm going to see the Undertaker, but I think more of I don't think it has anything to do with Roman specifically, more so as just WWE as a whole, as a brand.
I think another thing too, that just
my boy Seth probably draws a couple people, but
yeah, that just but even that right there, that speaks to how WWE has changed from the past, because now you don't have any type of surprising effect of the product because they're announcing each new superstar that is arriving.
Let's get back. A perspective from this. So Zach,
yes,
did you watch wrestling when you were a kid?
Yeah,
because you grew up about the same time we did, late '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah,
you know, I'm sure you know who The Rock is.
Definitely.
I'm sure you know who like Stone Cold Steve Austin is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody knows that. Like he transcended pop culture. Have you seen an episode of WWE within like the last 5 years?
I've seen a couple.
So in your opinion, how different do you think it is?
I think it's a good deal different. Like, it's still got a very similar feel, but it seems like a lot of it is more about the drama that happens between the people outside of the ring that doesn't get settled in the ring.
So, because you're the type of person that I feel like they market to,
mm-hmm.
you know, watched in the late 90s and then kind of lapsed and doesn't really watch it now.
Right.
So would you be more inclined to watch, say, if they were like, Stone Cold's going to wrestle again for the first time in like 20 years?
Yeah, I'd probably tune in more if they were bringing back some of the older guys from when I first started watching.
And that's the fucking problem.
Yeah.
Thank you for proving that.
Yeah,
no problem.
That's definitely true.
That's the problem. Like, they rely on Triple H, who's fucking 49.
Right.
They rely on The Undertaker, who's like 53 or something like that.
They're bringing Shawn Michaels out of retirement.
They just had geriatric fucking Ric Flair walk down the ramp on SmackDown
They
Live.
rely on Chris Jericho.
Hold on. You can't say anything about Jericho. Jericho is the exception to this rule because when Jericho comes back, it's not for one day.
Oh no, you're right about that.
He does it full time.
You're right about that.
He puts people over.
No, and I'm not knocking Chris Jericho,
also,
but I'm just to what we're speaking of though. They rely on Chris Jericho
for sure.
to put over. Remember that he had that match at WrestleMania with Fandango to put him over. Lost against him. But they did nothing with Fandango. But that just speaks to what we were speaking of earlier, that they cannot build any newer superstars. They want them to be exactly like the superstars from the past, which is a damn shame.
What I don't get though is it mind boggles me, and like I understand it to a certain degree, but it's like NXT does this job. This awesome fucking job of creating new characters, and people can say like, oh, you know, only the smart wrestling fan watch this, or like 1% of like the audience watches the NXT. But like how, and maybe this is just kind of me overestimating their popularity, but how can you say that to me when in TakeOver Brooklyn, Adam Cole debuts and 20,000 people chant Adam Cole baby with him, but it's like nobody knows who they are. Or AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble in Orlando got a massive fucking pop when he debuted, and that was in front of the casual fan. It's just like, I think they use their own narrative of like, if you didn't come up in WWE, sorry, Chief. Yeah,
it's just, but that doesn't make no sense either, because most of the people that they haven't. It wasn't made in the WWE.
It's weird to me. Well, I mean, technically Roman was.
Roman, yeah, but technically.
What's weird to me is it's like, why would you sign these guys and pay them hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars and just out of spite fuck them over because they came in as big stars from somewhere else. Wouldn't it be better for your business if you treated those guys the way that they are on the outside? Like, that's just mind-boggling to me. Why is this 80 goddamn year old man so fucking petty?
It just speaks to this is when I look at it. It's when you think of WWE, it's so worldwide, but their creative team is so small-minded.
So it's funny that you say that. I read this story not too long ago because I don't know if you guys knew this, but do you know who Freddie Prinze Jr. is?
Not
he played Fred in Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
Well, that's not his only role, but like I
Yeah,
know you
but
just
that was
told
the
me you
perfect
watched
one.
Scooby-Doo the other day.
Just watched it, Spooky Island.
So this dude, I don't know if you know this, he was on the creative team for WWE.
Okay.
And like, I want to say it was like 2008. Could be wrong on my timeline, but I know he did work for them. And I actually lost my train of thought.
Speaking of Fred, him being on the creative team.
So okay, that's right. With the whole like out of touch thing and the creative team being like so small, he told this story about how he was on a plane with Vince McMahon, and he was watching some stand-up comedy, and Vince couldn't understand why he was watching that, and he was like, "Well, why aren't you watching WWE, pal?" And he's like, "What do you mean there's content outside of that?" And he was like, "Nonsense, we have it all. We have comedy, we have laughter, we have storytelling, we have dancing, we have fighting. It's a variety show." Like,
right. So what it says is Vince is one of those guys who doesn't really pay attention to anything. He just watches his own product.
Did you know that he... If we're going to talk about Vince McMahon stories real quick. So, he did not know... The legend is he did not know what a burrito was. He eats apparently a steak wrap every day. And someone... He didn't know it was called a burrito. And they're like, "Oh, Vince, you like burritos?" And he's like, "What's a fucking burrito?" And they're like, "You're eating one, dude." And apparently he like drowns it in fucking ketchup.
Oh my
yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Man. The dude's fucking weird.
But you know, back to the product as far as WWE, it's just, you know, it's not necessary. It's not that it's all the way terrible. It's just
it's fucking terrible, dude. Yeah, you're being way kind with that.
Their storytelling just sucks. Their product, the way that they're presenting it sucks. Kevin Nash alluded to it, and he was like,
his shoot interviews are so good.
Yeah. What'd he say? When's the last time you seen a fucking video up on the Tron of it when a superstar is coming out instead of just words?
It looks like they threw it in a Windows Movie Maker.
Yeah, you know, he was speaking of, you know, how we used to have MTV and VH1 or BET when there used to be videos playing all day long. That's what WWE was at the time too. It was videos of the superstar interacting with in ring or outside a ring or with different people, and that made the product much better because you seen how they were in the ring or outside of the ring coming down into it, and it just made it so much more awesome,
dude.
And then the fucking promos, all these goddamn promos.
I'm gonna kick your butt.
To open up the show, it's a promo. In the middle of it, it's a promo. It's 3 hours long, man.
It's just 3 hours of
it's
talking.
A lot of fucking show, man.
So that's... I wish they wouldn't be 3 hours.
Oh my god!
I feel like I could probably swallow that pill a little more, like if it just wasn't fucking 3 hours.
Yeah.
They cut it back down to 2 and said, forget that 8 o'clock hour.
Listen, I used to love it at 2 hours or actually, let's get it right, 2 hours and like 8. That's enough 2 hours and 8 minutes.
That's enough to leave you wanting more.
Yeah.
And it's like once you hit about that 2. Usually, like, about after, I'd say, 10 o'clock, that's usually when I'm like, fuck, I got another hour of this shit.
Yep, exactly. 3 hours is way too long.
Oh, and their pay-per-views
about 6 hours.
Good fucking lord.
I think I watched...
WrestleMania was 7 hours.
WrestleMania went on from, like, 6 o'clock to about 1 in the morning.
Yeah, it was long as fuck.
No fucking thank you.
Oh, my God. Especially...
I got shit to do.
Because you got they call it the pre-show, but it's still a WrestleMania match.
They just still fucking put matches on it.
It's still a match. I don't know why you call it a fucking pre-show. That's the dumbest thing that they could have thought of.
I think... I get it as a business technique because they show the pre-show for free, you know, on YouTube, Facebook, anywhere you can like live stream. So it entices people to get the network because they say, you know, get your first month free.
Ain't nobody got time for that,
dude. So, what have you been keeping your eye on outside of WWE?
Well, besides New Japan Wrestling, I still haven't dived into New Japan Wrestling like I should. Once I got wind of Bullet Club.
Can I tell you something that's going to break your heart?
What?
Apparently, the
feuding.
No, so the feud has turned into the fact as of the latest live event they did, which was King of Pro Wrestling. Basically, the Elite have now broken off from the Bullet Club, and they're no longer in the Bullet Club.
Really?
I guess they're now going to be considered the Elite standalone, and Bullet Club's going to go back to Tama Tonga, Fale, and they're going to have... They just put in Jay White.
Oh.
Which they did a little bit of a swerve angle where they acted like Okada was going to join the Bullet Club, and I thought that would have been fucking dope. But, yeah, I guess that... Kenny cut a promo in Japanese and was like, we're no longer Bullet Club, you can now call us the Elite, and the Young Bucks and Cody and all those guys have been putting up like their last Bullet Club design, but it kind of breaks my heart, man.
I hear that.
I want a fucking Bullet Club shirt right now.
Remember we were speaking of this, we were speaking of them and Kenny Omega, of course, heading to WWE in 2019.
I don't see it happening.
You don't think so?
No,
isn't their contract?
Their contracts are up, but on the being the Elite, the Young Bucks have been playing that part up, which leads me to believe that they're probably just going to re-sign with Ring of Honor. They're doing like a whole thing where they have like a countdown on their phones, and the countdown leads to the fact of like their the day their contracts expire. And they did a bit where Marty Scurll walked up to Matt Jackson and he was like, so January 1st, like I'm having a party, and Matt was like, can you come? And Matt's like, what are you talking about, Marty? And he's like, dude, I'm just asking if you can come to the party. And he's like, everybody wants to know what we're doing on January 1st. Like, come on, man. I don't know. I don't know,
man. They give great suspense of what they're not going to do.
My hot take...
I think so.
My hot take is that they are going to go... The whole Elite guys... I don't know about Kenny. I think Kenny might follow them. But I think... all of the Elite guys are going to go independent, and I think All In is going to become their promotion.
That could be.
I mean, it's kind of, to me, like, even as I'm saying that, I think it's like a little bit of a reach, and I really don't see them leaving Ring of Honor, just because like Ring of Honor's schedule is not really.
It's not brutal.
It's not as brutal as WWE's, but when they leave for tours, like they leave for tours, like. The Young Bucks, I don't know if you watch Being the Elite, but they're always fucking complaining about the travel schedule. They're like, man, another 10-hour flight to Japan, and they've been kind of throwing shade at New Japan because I guess New Japan's been booking them like economy for the flight over to Japan, and I'd be kind of pissed too.
Oh no, how old are they? They're what, 31, 32?
No, I think Nick Jackson's like 28.
28?
I know Matt Jackson's like 32.
Because I know he's not far from Nick.
But Nick Jackson's like 28, I think.
Okay. Because they're still pretty young.
Oh, they're absolutely young. I was kind of floating the idea of like, what if they just retire? Because they've been talking about that, like how the fact that they don't want to like wrestle into their late 30s. Let's see, Nick Jackson.
You know what I forgot?
Nick Jackson is 29 and Matt Jackson is 33.
33? Yeah, they're getting there.
Well,
I mean, as far as wrestling age of wrestling, but they're still pretty young.
Look at it like this.
Well, Matt Jackson is getting. He's 33, right? He's getting.
Okay, Okada has been like for the last like 3, 4, or 5 years been putting on like matches that would make Ric Flair in his prime go holy fuck, and the man just turned 30.
Oh shit.
And those guys in Japan wrestle into their 60s.
And they wrestle much harder.
Yeah, but so much harder.
They age a bit differently as far as like what their bodies age.
Those guys in Japan, after we're done with this, like I'll show you some shit. They go so fucking hard in their matches.
Oh, no, I've seen some of the shit. I don't watch very much wrestling, but I've seen some of theirs.
There's a tournament that goes from about July to August called the G1, which is literally them putting on like WrestleMania quality matches every fucking night.
No
days off.
They definitely go in New Japan.
Oh my god.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
They definitely go in.
Dude, it's got me fucking spoiled. I think that's part of the reason, like, when I watch WWE, I'm like, it just doesn't fucking do it for me anymore.
It's just...
But it's apples to oranges, too.
But as far as with the wrestlers in WWE, it seems like they half-ass their moves now. They seem so much more lazier than other people outside of the product in WWE.
You gotta think.
They look so much lazier than what NXT... And their schedule has gotten easier than what it used to be as far as WWE.
But they're still doing like 4 or 5 nights a week.
But still, though,
I get it. I understand.
Still, you can put on for national TV, take off when you're not.
My thing with it is like this. You know, it goes back to the kids because the kids are like what they try to market to.
Yeah, of
even
course.
though their market age and like their most watched age is like the 18 to 32 demographic or whatever. And I think when you look at it like this, if you're a kid, you don't come to see John Cena get beat up.
Right, of course.
You come to see John Cena, you know, overcome a little bit of adversity, hit those shoulder blocks, get that 5-knuckle shuffle and the attitude adjustment.
But you might as well appeal to only... That's what they're doing. They're appealing just to them for the most part.
They're appealing to them and to themselves.
You gotta appeal to everyone.
Dude, it's Vince McMahon's fucking playground and we're just spectators. That's all
it
it is.
And we're living in it.
That's all it is.
Oh,
I mean, fuck, man. The guy had... I mean, you can't doubt them because obviously the fucking formula works. They went from being... you know, nothing to being a fucking global empire.
That's true. And I'm not knocking them for it. We had this conversation not too long ago about Vince McMahon and his genius, or his geniusness behind
quotes.
him, whatever. And for the most part, he took a lot from other people's mind. But he has the cachet to elevate it to a newer place at the same time.
I think since we're gonna go on the vein of what we expect on the topic of Vince McMahon's genius, what do you think of the new XFL? What do you think is gonna happen there?
You know what?
Do you think he's gonna sink or he's gonna swim this time?
We had this conversation too. I think he's gonna swim. Just because he has ventured in it.
I think he'll learn from the mistakes.
Exactly.
But I think he's gonna kind of like stay afloat for a minute.
XFL, I believe, will be the UFC.
It's gonna have a lot of eyes on it.
It definitely is because as far as with the NFL and how it's not necessarily how it's going, they're trying to make it safer, of course, just from everything that is happening. So. And it's not a bad product that's out there. They just got a lot of shit that's going on, and a lot of people are turning away from it. XFL is going to bring that thing to where they want to see it. It's just like boxing, you know. As far as what most boxers tried to do, Floyd Mayweather did it best, and a lot of people try to take after him. Boxing is a science to it, so you're supposed to hit, not get hit. But at one point, it was slobber knocking, boxing. That's what UFC. Yeah, that's what UFC. Yeah, you did. You had Oscar De La Hoya. You had a lot of foreign boxers that were undefeated, but they're not as exposed as a lot of the other boxers in there.
UFC went through that too with all their I think for a while they were predominantly like it was a Brazilian fucking held contendership, you know? Mm-hmm. Like Lyoto Machida, Anderson Silva, Minotauro Nogueira, Rodrigo Nogueira.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brazilian was very predominant in UFC there for a while, but despite it being like the favored style that all the fighters used, if they even dabbled in stuff like Muay Thai and a few of the other more brutal martial arts, they dominated.
God, so, Anderson Silva's fucking Muay Thai knees. Jesus, man.
It's just like...
It just brought a whole new element.
Yeah, because like the Brazilian, it's great because it's got a lot of versatility, but it doesn't have enough of the brutality that some of the other ones do to really clinch.
Mm-hmm. What really got me was... I don't know if you ever watched any of Lyoto the Dragon Machida's fight. So the way that this guy fights, you know, most people when you fight, you have your hands above your face because you're guarding your face. So this dude holds his hands down here by his sides. So that way, like, when you hold it here, it's easy to jab.
Right.
He does it like this, so he can just throw swings. Like, super fucking easy. And I think for me, that was the moment, like, where it clicked, and I was like, damn, this is, like, more strategy than actually just walking and taking
What
somebody.
What is Conor McGregor's style? Because he doesn't hold his hand up. He
holds
his hands up like this.
Conor scraps. He's a fucking Irish, like, bar fighting motherfucker.
Like Sheamus.
Conor McGregor is straight up a brawler.
That's what it is.
He's a wrestler, too. He's a wrestler, too. He's not game.
Conor. That's because the way he wrestles, or the way he, his stance, it isn't both hands up. No. It's one hand up, kind of like this, filling you out. With his hand in front of your face, and I thought that was really unique.
Conor is a guy that's like, he will talk a lot of shit. McGregor will out fucking shit talk anybody. He will out promo someone like Rick fucking Flair.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And when he gets into that octagon, I feel like his thing is that he likes to get inside of people's heads, so that way when they fight, they come at him full steam, and he's like always keeping them like 6 inches away. Yeah, except for Khabib. Okay. Clearly that didn't work. He threw a fucking chair through Khabib's bus window.
It was so, but that just takes to Conor's endurance.
He didn't look bad in the fight. I don't think he looked bad at all.
Conor?
No,
not at all. His endurance was much better, but still at the same time, Khabib is just a grappler. He's a wrestler.
Khabib, I see him.
And once he gets you down to the ground and locks your legs in, it's kind of over.
Khabib, I see in the same vein as Mickey Gall, the guy who beat CM Punk. I think that going into that fight, especially CM Punk versus Mickey Gall, where Mickey obviously made Punk tap out in 90 seconds or something like that. I think they knew that he was going to be something special, and they used Punk as a platform because clearly the motherfucker is going to make headlines if he beats CM Punk because everybody was curious to see like what was going to do. And I think it's the same. CM Punk. Absolutely. The dude, people talk so much shit about him, and it's like, you cannot fault the guy. The guy is like on an upside of 40, going into a sport that he's never done before. And sure, he's getting paid millions of dollars, but it's like, he's getting punched in the fucking face.
Exactly.
You put me in there, and I'm going to be like, maybe not today. But I think they used Khabib as that platform. I think, obviously, it was always going to be a money fight. It was always going to be a fight that was going to be talked about. But I think that a lot of people thought that Khabib would win. I think a lot of people understood that, like, Khabib was going to do so, and he was going to do it in a definitive fashion. Right. Because, like, there's something, like, winning rounds is cool. You can knock somebody out, but to choke a motherfucker out?
Oh, yeah. And he choked his ass all the way out.
Like,
it was a wrap. Once I seen him put that arm up under his, that forearm up under his neck.
My personal conspiracy theory, because I like to have a conspiracy theory about everything. I think the right people were in Conor's ear about it, because I don't think Conor was set on ever fighting again in the UFC after that bank he made for the Floyd Mayweather fight. And they were like, Khabib's talking shit, like he's messing, like the Russian guys were messing with your dudes, like, which is a real thing. He got into that thing, which what caused him to throw the chair through the window and all that stuff. But I think they were like, I think you should fight him, Conor. Like, just get him in the octagon. You're mad. You want to get a piece of him. And I think that those people were setting Conor McGregor up to fail.
Well, see, here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize is there is a bit more scripting to the UFC fights than a lot of people want to admit.
UFC is pro wrestling, basically.
It is. It's a little bit more legit as far as the outcomes of the fights being undetermined.
I agree with that.
But Dana White has a very strict policy about how he wants his fighters to act.
Dana White is Vince McMahon reincarnated.
Oh yeah, by far.
Yeah, like he has a very strict thing. Like, you get in trouble with the law, I don't want you in my octagon. And Conor got in trouble with the law, and he still ended up fighting him. And the fact that happened is just kind of like really shows that they've got their hands in who fights and who wins.
Because here's the thing. Here's what's going to happen. I'm calling it now. What we expect, episode 1, it's fucking October 18th. There's going to be a rematch.
With Khabib and McGregor?
Khabib and McGregor.
Oh, for sure.
There's going to be a rematch. They are going to promote the shit out of that.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it is going to be in a big-ass venue like Madison Square Garden.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And they're going to use all of this shit to get buys. While I think that somebody was in Conor's ear and like saying all this shit to get him like riled up, I also think that Conor understands that like it benefits him more for Khabib to win.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Because did you see that? I don't know if you saw this, but it was a clip they posted where Khabib was talking
was
shit.
Like, I need to win this or something.
Khabib was saying like, "You like that motherfucker? You like that motherfucker?" And Conor was like, "It's just business." It's just business.
Yep. I remember that. Well, let me ask you this. I know we done went off the subject of WWE because we went from. We was talking Vince McMahon.
It's hand in hand, dude.
Yeah, I know it's hand in hand, but we were speaking Vince McMahon and went to how everything else promote. Do you see, since we're speaking of Khabib, do you think Khabib, since he called out Mayweather, that they're going to fight in a boxing ring?
Fuck no.
Here's the thing.
You don't think so? Mayweather said, "I'm good for it."
Here's the thing with that. You and I talked about this yesterday or the day before.
Day before.
You get Mayweather in a UFC match. Conor wins. Khabib wins.
Of course.
Boxing ring, I don't think there's a match.
I think it's the cachet, though.
There's never going to be a match.
No,
but I think it's the cachet.
You're pulling somebody is always going to be pulled out of their element. No matter
of course.
Like at least Conor did a hell of a fucking lot better.
But I think that Mayweather and Conor's going to have a rematch.
Oh, I'm sure there's money there.
Yeah.
There's absolutely money there because McGregor went toe-to-toe with him for the most part. Like, he got gassed pretty early on, but at the same time, like, he didn't let that, like, stop him from going in.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I think he thought he had something to prove, and I think that I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we see Conor in the WWE.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised either.
I would love to see that.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
I have thought this for when Conor, like, started all of his shit. I don't know if you remember this. It was like last year or the year before, where he basically like called all the people in WWE pussies, and everybody like went on Twitter and they were like, "Come on, man, come on, man."
I like Sheamus. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Because Sheamus actually did it, and he was talking to CM Punk at the same time, I think, because he actually got into it. Stuff like that. Yeah, I remember that.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see Conor maybe do like what Ronda does, especially because I think
perfect for it.
I think if he loses to Khabib again, I think that does to his image what losing to Holly Holm did to Ronda Rousey's image.
Right.
But
but you got to think Conor has what 3, 4 losses?
4
now. 4 losses.
4.
Yeah, so you got 4 losses, and Ronda, her first loss was to Holly Holmes.
Yeah,
and then she lost to Cyborg Nunes.
She lost that first match, and she never really got a solid win again.
Right,
she wanted to kill herself after that.
Yeah,
she was about to.
And I don't blame her. And I like Ronda. She's a good fighter, but her big
she's a bad bitch, dude.
Her big shtick in the UFC was she was a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
It was, I'm going to get you in that armbar and I'm going to submit you. She didn't have a backup plan if that didn't work.
Yeah.
Damn, Zach, I didn't know you were a MMA
aficionado. I fucking love MMA.
I see that. I was like, this is how we get you talking. I like that.
All right, so let me ask you this then. So Quan and I were talking because Quan just watched his first UFC pay-per-view.
Yeah,
nice.
First UFC.
And I told him I that opened up my can of worms because I used to be a pretty big MMA junkie. I told him
on Instagram.
I was like, man, you need to watch Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner.
Oh,
their first fight.
Anything Forrest Griffin.
He's my favorite fighter of all time, dude.
He's one of the best.
This guy is like a dude who will get punched in the face and he will fucking laugh at you when you punch him in the face.
I know, I need to watch it.
Like Forrest Griffin is just a scrawnier, slightly more grounded Conor McGregor.
Okay.
And he's won.
Like he went toe to toe with Rampage.
Did he?
Yeah.
Dude, Rampage picked him up and he did that spot where Rampage will get you on the ground and he'll fucking just lift you and like legit powerbomb you.
Yeah.
And he like lived to fucking tell the tale.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Rampage though is another one of those guys. He's a career ender if you can't recover from the loss.
Did you ever watch The Ultimate Fighter? He broke a fucking door.
Yeah.
Because he got
Rampage? Or
Oh yeah, when he was coaching his team.
See,
he coached with Rashad Evans.
I didn't really watch The Ultimate Fighter, but I always seen highlights of it, but I never really got into it.
Dude, oh my god, man.
It was pretty good.
Dude, that show was fucking phenomenal. They did that season.
It doesn't air anymore?
I don't think it does. I haven't seen it in a while.
I think it stopped with that season where Matt Riddle came out of it.
Yeah.
Okay. What was this? I mean, it's not going off of UFC, but I always forget their name. What was the match before Conor and it could be.
Are you talking about Anthony Pettis?
Anthony Pettis and
I don't remember
someone that just came out of retirement. Yeah. They had a great.
Did you see the BJ Penn's coming out of retirement?
Oh, BJ Penn. He was another one of those ones where it was if you managed to beat him, it created your career. But it didn't end his.
Okay. BJ Penn, Matt Hughes, any of their fights, go fucking watch those.
Yeah.
Another one is Matt Hughes and Hoist Gracie. That's where Matt Hughes ends Hoist Gracie's like undefeated streak. Dude, I'm telling you, like, I don't mean to turn this into an MMA podcast.
Oh, it's okay.
Now, but it's like,
listen, this is all wrestling. It's all fighting.
I will be able to probably make you like a list of 20 fucking matches you need to see. Anything from Chuck Liddell, anything from Frank Mir, anything from Randy Couture.
Randy Couture.
Maybe not Tito Ortiz because he
had some good matches. Though.
Dude, Tito had some good matches, but he's a pussy.
He fucking tapped out the punches from Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
Chuck was like punching him and he was like slapping the mat like I give up. Give up.
Like Chuck is a great fighter, but his boxing game wasn't his strong suit.
Chuck Liddell's like that dude you don't like that gets drunk in a bar and fights everybody.
Yeah,
he's got like the douchey mohawk, you know.
Yeah, that's what his commercials was.
Well, I mean, his nickname was the Iceman.
Yeah,
so it was Chuck the Iceman Liddell.
He was like a hitman. Like
right. Like that was his thing. It was like, all right, you're talking shit. You think you're big. You got too big for your britches. I'm coming to put you down.
Hence Tito Ortiz. Did you see that they're fighting again?
No.
Yeah, they're fighting in Bellator.
Yeah. See, Bellator is really starting to come up. They're getting a lot of the good fighters from UFC that had their careers ended where they just couldn't get their feet back under.
They caught Fedor Emelianenko from Strikeforce,
nice.
Which I wish he would have been 10 years younger because I always wanted to see him fight Brock when Brock was like running through the heavyweight division because Fedor is like one of those dudes who he's big, like he's very tall. But he's not like built like a heavyweight, but he's somebody who's literally like a snake, and he will like wrap himself around your body. And
what did y'all think about 50 Cent trying to get Khabib into the Bellator? $2 million.
That was never gonna happen.
His manager was like nothing less than $50 million.
Dude, 50 Cent was talking out of his ass.
Oh yeah, he definitely. Nah, he would have definitely gave him that money if he was true. If he would have really came.
Oh, he would have given him the money, but. A fight like that.
Oh yeah,
$2 million's chump change.
Oh hell yeah! Ain't that what the match made though against him and Conor?
Did it? Did it only make $2 million?
As far as what he was getting paid.
See, it's.
I'll look this up. Let's see if it's
for a fight like that though.
He didn't get paid for it.
Oh yeah, he did.
He did because he threw that fit afterwards.
That's
and attacked Conor's goods.
Yeah.
They said that they didn't pay Conor, but then Dana White was like, "Oh, we're gonna pay Conor," but they fucking suspended him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which doesn't
why
make sense.
Suspensions
in the UFC are fucking dumb because you only fight once every 6 months.
Yeah,
anyways.
It didn't make sense. That whole process didn't make sense of what the hell they did for both of them at that time. But whatever.
I would definitely love to see some more MMA guys go. WWE and into that
Rampage.
wrestling.
Oh yeah,
Rampage did it for a minute. He was in TNA for a hot second.
Well, Rampage.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
And King Mo.
Mo. Yep. He was there.
So like guys like Brock Lesnar though, like him and a couple of those.
I mean, you get some of the females. You get some of the females.
Wait, hold on. What? What did you just say?
Brock Lesnar
would be great in WWE.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I've been a bit out of touch.
Do
you realize that? Do you realize that Brock Lesnar
was the longest reigning champion at WWE?
Oh shit, it's been a while.
I mean, Brock Lesnar
he went 400. What 400 and no? Yeah,
he beat Punk's record. Yeah,
400.
I mean, like what guys?
Do you realize that he was
UFC would be good.
He was in WWE before he was in UFC.
Actually, I didn't.
He came in 2003.
Yep.
Yeah, but guys like Brock Lesnar that are in the UFC that have never gone there though, because like there's a couple of them that are there and. In the UFC and Bellator that haven't. There's what was his name? He did the guy who did a Bully Beatdown.
Oh, are you talking about Mayhem Miller?
Yeah, Mayhem Miller. He would be fucking great in something like WWE.
I don't know
because he has built himself to be his character.
Mayhem Miller. But
the thing about going to WWE, you do gotta have a character. I mean, I ain't saying these guys don't have character as far as MMA, UFC, Bellator, or whatever the hell it is, true fighting. Mm-hmm. But WWE is so tough as far as pleasing the crowd.
Here's the thing, though.
Sometimes. You got to get over.
You have those guys. like Mayhem Miller, like Connor. Who's another good promo guy in the UFC? Anyways, whatever. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. I think that's really all it is. I think half of WWE is the mic skills because
it's
I think a lot of those guys could make the transition from UFC to WWE versus WWE to UFC.
Right.
If you look at Matt Riddle is a guy who's only been wrestling for like 2 to 3 years. Believe it or fucking not. Mm-hmm. He's the only person to have ever been fired from UFC on he was on a 3 or 5 fight win streak because he loved pot so much that he was like, you know what? I've always wanted to be a pro wrestler anyways. I'm going to go do that. Oh, yeah. And now the guy just got fucking signed by WWE. And I think he's going to be like, he's picked it up almost as fast as Kurt Angle did.
Okay.
Matt Riddle is a guy who I absolutely see main eventing and being WWE champion within like 3 years.
You think so?
Oh, dude,
he's signed?
He signed. He made his NXT debut just like a couple days ago.
Okay.
He is somebody who we're like, I think if Vince McMahon sees what fucking Triple H sees in him,
which he probably won't.
Sky's the goddamn limit. I think he's undeniable. He's one of those guys that has a charisma about him that is undeniable, and I think that Vince craves that legitimacy.
Does he got the body type?
He's shredded.
How tall is he?
He's pretty tall. I don't know exact heights. If you want to look it up, like I can. But he's someone who I think like he has that background that Vince likes, where you know the whole thing with Brock was like Brock's gonna add legitimacy. He's a former MMA champion who's coming back to WWE. I think that's what Matt Riddle's gonna have like going in his favor because truly. He's a bad motherfucker, man. Oh, yeah. You need to go watch his shit.
They're really going to do that with him, though, man. The only person that they have done that with as far as someone transitioning back from the MMA...
He's 6'2", by the way.
6'2"?
Yeah.
From the MMA, okay. He's that image.
Yeah.
Long hair.
He's a fucking stoner. He's got that stoner image about him. Dude, he
looked like he was stoned in that.
He's a very eccentric guy. Like he's a very like goofy, you know, like laid back, chill guy. Because everybody and his thing is that he wears flip flops. Like no matter what he does, and people were talking about how he was wearing like a snapback and fucking flip flops with a suit. When he made his debut at NXT, he just like was sitting there, and everybody was like, "Matt's wearing fucking flip flops with the suits, guys! Like, look at this dude."
It's been a minute since I've watched wrestling, and just you describing it makes me just my first thought was, yeah, that definitely sounds like some shit some dude trying to get into wrestling would wear.
Not to brag or anything, but Matt Riddle follows me on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Look at you, a little brag right there.
A little
braggadocious.
Humble bragging. Matt Riddle follows me.
Do we need to go ahead and do the Truth TV break dance?
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna go floss in the middle of it.
Yeah, go ahead and get your floss on, man.
But I don't know. Like, I think it's interesting. I think maybe we'll see more people make the jump to pro wrestling from MMA. I think it truly depends on Matt Riddle being successful.
I mean, I think that area is being crossed now.
Right there. Follows you. Look at that.
Okay. Follows over 1,000 people.
Yeah, but whatever. Hey, he follows me because he sold me a shirt.
But I think that area right there, as far as wrestling, I think. As far as WWE is starting to become, just as far as like the stock being risen and stuff like that,
it becomes more attractive.
It's starting to be. That's the word. It's starting to become more attractive to a lot of different, people in different areas. As far as MMA or Bellator or what's the other company that's real fighting.
There's Pride, but I don't know if that's a thing anymore.
Yeah, who knows? Or New Japan. It's all crossing.
That's the thing. I thought
all crossing.
I thought Matt Riddle was going to go to New Japan. They met with him and apparently didn't like that he smokes pot, so they were like, because pot's a big no-no.
Like you said, Vince is just like Dana White. Dana White is just like Vince McMahon.
No, dude. When they get drug tested,
in a sense,
when they do their drug test, I say this like in quotes. Because WWE's wellness test is like the most laughable shit I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
they don't test their part-time guys. So like Brock does steroids, Cena does steroids, but they only they only fine them like something like $2,000 if you got caught with weed in your system. It's not a fucking suspension. Those guys make $2,000 in 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's like they just call it the pot tax.
Easily, of course.
They make $2,000 just agreeing to do the fight. They don't even have to go through it. Just the initial burst of, hey, we might do it.
Dude,
they just made that.
Roman Reigns makes like fucking $4 million a year, not counting merchandise, not counting like the cut of the live events. Like, it's fucking crazy. Like, people
and hate, they still should be making more.
People fucking hate on Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar makes $10 million a year.
Right.
I'm estimating. I think it's like somewhere around that figure. He makes $10 million a year to show up like every 6 months.
Yeah.
Every 3 months. And it's like people hate on him for that fact. He didn't tell WWE to make him champion.
Right.
They did that themselves.
They did that
themselves. You cannot fault a guy for making more for doing less.
But that's what makes
because that's what we all want to do.
That's what makes the fans so great, though.
Yeah, nobody's ever happy.
Yeah.
Can't fucking please us.
I mean, no one's never happy anywhere.
It's like the theme of our podcast is we're not fucking happy with it. You know
exactly. What I mean? Me and my stepdad was just talking about this earlier. It's kind of, it's not off topic still with WWE, but we was watching Impact. Impact was on before I actually.
They're doing really well. They're killing it now.
But they was in a small ass arena. I don't know
well,
where the hell they was.
They're in a rebuilding phase.
Yeah, but I don't know where the hell they was. But I was like, damn, that ring is really small.
Was it about? When was this?
Today. We was
it was Bound for Glory,
yeah,
probably.
Probably. I don't know.
Was it when Austin
Johnny Morrison was on? Johnny Morrison was on there. Johnny Morrison?
Yeah, Morrison.
John Morrison was on there. Then I seen Tommy Dreamer. But we started thinking, and we was like, do they have a retirement package for these wrestlers?
None of them do. WWE doesn't even like pay their wrestlers health insurance.
Yeah,
they're all considered fucking independent contractors, which is the shadiest shit.
Yes,
ever.
that's what we started talking about. It was like, man, much as
fault them,
as much
okay, hold on.
But as much as WWE makes, you can have.
Here's my problem.
It's a sport. It's considered a sport.
They pay the nice thing that they do is they pay for their like rehab and shit, and like they pay for their old wrestlers to go to school. But my thing with that is it's like, as an independent contractor, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Oh yeah.
If I'm independently contracted to WWE, I can walk my happy ass to New Japan tomorrow and fucking work for them. When WWE puts that in their contracts where they don't allow them to do that, so it's like at that point you might as well just be considered employees.
Exactly.
You putting a non-compete in an independent contractor's
that non-compete does not hold up. I think it was Alberto Del Rio that challenged their non-compete in court, and they were like, dude, you can't fucking force a non-compete.
Right.
Yeah.
As far as with WWE, man, as far as their contract goes, their schedule, it's all shitty in a sense. But we was just sitting there and we're thinking like, man, these guys continue to wrestle. Some of them continue to wrestle just because they love the wrestle. Ric Flair.
In his case,
the King.
Okay, hold on. So Jerry Lawler.
He loves wrestling.
He's an example of like, I don't fault him for wrestling, especially after he had that heart attack.
Yeah, and he explained why he continued.
I was
to wrestle.
rooting for him to do that.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, man.
And he wrestles because he was like, what's the best thing for my heart? I love to wrestle and I should keep it.
It's his exercise, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But as far as some of these wrestlers who continue to wrestle, they just wrestle so they can continue to pay what they need to pay. And I'm like, damn, get these motherfuckers some rent.
Right? It's fucking... Well, they kind of do that now.
Give them retirement.
They sign people to Legends contracts, basically, where they pay them like a little bit of money. They get to use them in the video game. If they need them for Raw, they call them up and they're like, hey, Kevin Nash, we need you to come in too sweet Finn Balor. Like, they do that for certain people, like, but that's only for, like, their legends that they can use to, like, they feel that are profitable, you know what I mean? Like, Bret Hart, or Kevin Nash is one, Hulk Hogan.
Remember...
Whole other thing, I don't want to fucking talk about that right now. We'll do that on another
Yeah, we'll
episode.
do that on another... Remember, this is my last thing I'm going to say. Remember Big Show had that ironclad contract? God. I'm doing the finger quotation. Ironclad contract. That was the worst.
You guys can't see it, but I'm fucking rolling my eyes.
That was the worst thing. Worst skit that they could have did. One of the worst skits that they could have did in WWE.
The opposite of that is, you remember that angle they did where they said that Shawn Michaels went bankrupt and JBL hired him?
Gosh, man. I don't know if I don't know if that was the word. Listen, you know what? As far as WWE, I think the worst thing that they did was Rey Mysterio's son.
Oh, I'm your puppy.
Either that or what we was just speaking of earlier, Nikki Bella saying to Brie, "I wish you would have died in the womb."
How can you hold on a second? If we're talking about worst thing that they've ever done, what about Triple H fucking a dead corpse?
Oh my god!
Yeah, you've never seen
that?
That's
right.
I didn't even heard.
I forgot.
It was like
about
2004-ish. They were doing a program with Triple H and Kane, and basically they were like talking about Triple H was saying that he knew like Kane's dirty secret, and apparently the story is that Kane like accidentally killed this girl in like a car accident or something like that, and Triple H was like, "I'm gonna show you like what's up with this," and then he held like it was a dummy. It was a dummy for sure. Like,
right.
They even said that on TV like. Triple H is just doing this as a ploy to like get into his head, and it's a dummy. But he gets into the casket and he like starts fucking this dummy, and it's like supposed to be representative of a fucking dead corpse.
Oh my gosh! They used to do.
It might have been fake, but the story of he was willing to fuck a dead corpse
just to
get
prove a point.
Across. That's ridiculous.
Or they did the craziest stuff.
Or how about fucking. What was it? It was Edge and Booker T, where they had that match at WrestleMania to determine who would be in a Japanese hair shampoo commercial.
Oh my gosh, man! They did some shit back in the day.
Dude, they've done back in the day.
I mean, even recently. Just with Randy Orton taking the screwdriver and pulling Jeff Hardy's earlobe all the way down. I
legitimately like could not watch it.
He twisted it. He twisted
it. He puts
it.
a screwdriver in there.
Yeah, he twisted it.
You couldn't pay me enough money.
To
let somebody do that.
It didn't hurt Jeff because Jeff's ears were like stretched enough to where he
I mean, still,
play with
like
it.
I feel like
just the idea that somebody might fuck up my earlobe because of my gauges for a gag.
Oh my god!
No, thank you. I'm good.
Dude, WWE is like, remember when they had Taka Michinoku as like a stereotypical Japanese character, and he cut off the Val Venus's dick, and he was like, choppy choppy pee pee. Or they fed fucking Al Snow's dog to him from Big Boss Man.
Oh my gosh, man. They did some stuff,
dude,
man.
So much fucking like questionable shit. And WCW did
Vince
it.
McMahon dying in the
limo explosion.
Limo with the car crash. Limo explosion, yeah.
Did you know they fucked up that edit for that?
Did they? I was always trying to look to see if there was a blemish there.
So they
fucked
up the edit. The edit was supposed to be that Vince just gets in, closes the door, and the limo explodes, right?
Uh-huh.
So you can see it for like just a quick second where he gets in the limo
and
then
puts
somebody
his leg back out.
Yeah, somebody like puts their leg out and then it closes again. And
I thought that was I thought that was just him like second guessing of getting in it, because as far as what it looked like, it looked as he was unsure, because I can't remember how the that episode of WWE or WWF went at the time and whatnot for him to get in there. But when he was walking there, he was unsure about getting in. So when he opened it, he looked, both ways. Then he got in. He didn't shut the door. Then he put the leg out. Then put it back in. He put the leg in, put it back out, then put it in and shut it. I thought that was a part of the story.
No, that was 100% an edit fuck up. And that's also what got Paul London fired. Because when Vince was walking through the hallway and he was like shaking everybody's hands, I think Paul London did something fucking stupid. I don't remember
like Titus O'Neil?
Almost, yeah. Except a little bit like, dude, that whole Titus thing still bothers me.
Oh my!
Because it's like, you hear those stories of Vince McMahon, like, I think Jericho said in his book that it was him, Kofi Kingston, and Jericho on this flight, and the whole time, like, Vince like really didn't have it in his head that like Kofi could like have what it takes to be like a big star or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I guess Vince's way of testing people is to like get him to fight him, which is fucking weird. I mean, the guy is weird. Like, I think we can all agree on that.
It's cool.
But apparently, like, he kept fucking with Kofi and like putting his foot out and like trying to trip him and shit. And it was making Kofi mad. And Kofi was like, "That's my boss. I can't do it. And I guess they were getting off the plane, and Jericho stopped him and he was like, "Listen here, Vince is testing you. Like, you need to go back there right now and challenge that dude to a fight. And apparently, like, Kofi and Vince McMahon fought, and that's what, like, made Vince think, like Kofi's a main eventer because he stood up to me and he fought me for whatever fucking reason.
Listen, not Kofi. Vince is cuckoo, man. And
he's
you can
cuckoo.
see it.
So, as a closing question here, a little bit of a lighthearted ending to the podcast.
Let's do it.
What's your favorite, like, Vince McMahon moment?
Actually, let me before your closing, I need to ask you, what is one of your favorite moments in WWE?
That's tough.
For me, you asked me this at the beginning.
For me, that's tough. Is what I mean. Like, because I don't know if you know this.
I mean, you can give me two if you
want.
But
I'm a pretty big wrestling watcher.
No, trust me, I know. As far as when I asked you who's your favorite superhero.
That was a tough one.
And then I was like, okay, you can give me one from Marvel and Justice League.
I think,
or DC, and you gave me two, and then I still made you pick one at the end of the day. So you can do this.
We'll do two.
Go ahead.
I'll pick out
give me two, and then I'll make you fight over two.
The first one would be CM Punk's pipe bomb.
Of course, okay.
Because that's, do I have everybody's attention now?
Right.
And then I would have to say, dude, that's a tough one. I'm gonna think for a second. There's gonna be a little bit of dead air while I think.
Go ahead and breathe into the mic gently. Let me go ahead and play. Oh.
That's just tough because it's like you're asking me to recap like the last 20 years of my life.
You asked me to recap, and I gave you. Instantly.
I think you're.
I'm a Randy Orton fanatic.
I just think you're a little more casual about it than I am too.
You're right, but I got a skull tattoo on me because Randy Orton.
Because Austin 316 instead of just kick your ass. Give me it all, hell yeah.
That was almost a good impression. Not better than your Barack Obama impression.
Oh my god,
but
my fellow Americans.
President?
The president is here, ladies and
gentlemen. No more. I forgot. Nah.
Other than that, maybe I think when Jericho slammed Shawn through the Jeritron.
Okay.
But like that's just me pulling something out of my ass. Like I don't know. Like there's just so many good moments for me to choose from.
You know what? One great moment that I always forget.
I would have to say CM Punk's pipe bomb is my all-time favorite, though.
One of my other favorite moments too, besides Randy Orton and the whole McMahon family fiasco, was Shane McMahon wrestling. So I like two from Shane McMahon. I like Shane McMahon jumping off the not ladder, but climbing up by the Tron.
You mean the stage when he jumps on the I think it's Kurt Angle or Steve Blackman?
It was Big Show.
Was it?
Yeah, it was Big Show. It was Big Show.
I thought it was Steve Blackman.
I'm pretty sure it was.
We'll fact check it.
We'll fact check it after, yeah. And then him and Kurt Angle, of course.
Oh, yeah.
He kept trying to
when he slams him through the glass.
Yeah, but it took him a minute, and he just kept dropping on his head.
Because they used it for that fucking...
That's probably why Shane
don't try this at home
That's
shit.
probably why, besides Vince being his dad, he's probably even more cuckoo just because his head kept bouncing off that hard floor.
The man fucking...
3 times.
Vince McMahon's son survived a fucking helicopter crash last year.
Yeah.
Walked out of this motherfucking crash unscathed. Basically, the helicopter crashed, and he was like, alright. That was different.
Yeah. Was the SmackDown vs. Raw, was that after?
That was after. And then
he got injured in that match.
He got injured in that match, and then he came back for Mania after he got diverticulitis.
And jumped off.
Yeah, he got diverticulitis, which almost killed Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
And is like a very fatal disease anyways.
Oh, yeah.
And he still managed to fucking wrestle a 25-minute match at WrestleMania. And then afterwards was like, guess I should go to the hospital.
He's cuckoo. He's out of his mind.
The whole fucking family's cuckoo.
That's true. That's true.
In closing,
McMahon's a little sane, but a little more sane. But
she takes credit for the women's revolution.
She's such a evil bitch.
So, in closing here, since we're talking about McMahon's, your favorite Vince McMahon moment?
Oh man, it gotta be him and Stone Cold Steve Austin in the hospital.
Oh, when he fucking
hit him with that pot or whatever the hell it was.
The piss pan?
The piss pan, and you just hit bink.
Doesn't he call him a jackass or something?
Yeah, because he just came in.
I'll
go. You can. What's Stone Cold? He came in and was like, I'll go ahead and handle this or something like that. And
that's where
man. Like, he just had that little diaper on. Ding. Or having either that or having who was it that had to kiss his ass?
Everybody's.
Well, it wasn't that. He was trying to make someone kiss his ass, but he ended up getting
the stunner.
He ended up getting Rikishi's ass in his face.
That's right, he did.
Those two are no. I'm sorry. This is my all-time favorite. When John Cena and I think it was Triple H was having that match, the Royal Rumble, not Royal Rumble. It might have been Royal Rumble, but they both went over. They both went over the rope at the same time. John Cena and Triple H.
It's true. John Cena and Batista.
Yeah, Batista. John Cena and Batista. That's right. They both, and he tore both of his quad. He came walking down the ramp, and he came sliding into the ring and tore both of his quads. And he's just sitting there,
no, in shock, like what the fuck do I do?
He's just sitting there in shock and still just pointing his finger.
What the fuck?
That is a funny ass moment.
So I don't know if you guys remember this because this is something that WWE likes to sweep under the rug and not talk about. Do you remember Do-Rag Vince McMahon?
Yes, I do.
He was ECW champion, and he said, "What up, my N-words?"
Oh yeah, I remember. Because wasn't John Cena right by him? And John Cena looked.
And
Booker T.
Yeah, Booker T was.
And Booker T was like, "Did he just say?" And he put his hand over his head. I don't know what was wrong with Vince McMahon around that time.
It was just a different culture, man.
I know it was, but I still don't know what was wrong.
Nothing excuses it, but it's like
I don't know what was wrong with him around that time, man.
We could pretty much just sum it up with what's wrong with Vince McMahon.
That's true.
Period.
That's true.
Dude, I've read so many stories. I think Jim Ross in his book, he talks about how it was like the early 90s or something like that. After a show, Vince McMahon pulled up in a fucking Cadillac SUV, and they were driving, doing 100 and a 40, and Vince was speeding, and he was like turning up and listening to like classic rock, and I guess Vince rolls up the window, and he's like, "You like this, pal?" And then according to like JR, Vince like lets a giant ass fart rip, and he locks the windows and doesn't let him roll them down.
That's fucking
as he's
hilarious.
Still going like 100 miles per hour on the road.
That is fucking great.
Oh my gosh, man.
So I think this was pretty good.
This was
pretty good first episode.
You know what?
I still feel
I know we introduced each other. Did you ever introduce the
I
third?
did not. Did I introduce you, Zach?
After like 2 or 3 minutes in, we got a bit of an introduction.
Because like I didn't want to force you to participate.
Right. Well, we had Zach in here.
Yeah,
Zach
I don't know. I don't know if Zach will be a future inclusion, but
maybe in a couple future episodes of it, but not regularly.
But yeah, guys. So we hope to put this out weekly. The schedule is permitting, of course. You know, Quan and I are both very, very busy gentlemen.
We definitely
sometimes,
but me more than often.
You know, if you have stuck with us all the way through now, we appreciate that a lot. You know, we always want you guys to subscribe because I'm not sure at the moment if this is going on YouTube or where this is going.
Right.
Because I have another podcast that I put on a platform and I don't really like the platform that it's on there. Mm-hmm. But, you know, tune in with us next time. We have a Twitter account. Give me 1 second while I pull that up because I was not prepared.
I believe it's what we expect underscore.
I think it's WWE Cast.
Oh, WWE Cast, that's right. Or WWE Podcast.
It is WWE _cast. So if you guys want to keep up with what we expect, be sure to follow us there. My personal Twitter handle is @Metzilla_, and then Quan's is...
Why don't you go ahead and spell that first?
It's METZILLA, and then underscore can't spell that.
Yeah, there could have been a confusion on that.
Well, it's like Met and Zilla.
ZILA.
I don't know, man. Like if you watch Godzilla, you know.
Mine's is easy, simple.
No, it's not.
Rock out wit Spiff.
WIT. Spiff has 2 F's, right?
Spiff has 2 F's. Not hard to find. Once you start just typing in rock out, I will pipe up.
But yeah, thank you again for sticking with us this far and all of our ramblings about what we expect from the wacky world of cartoony ass professional wrestling.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll see you guys soon.
Peace.